Welcome back to Monroeville at your service. Time for the portion of the show where we get to hear from you. You ask the questions, and I'll do my best to provide the answers right here on the show. Submit your questions via Facebook or email to our Municipal Television Department. Find us on Facebook at Monroeville TV Department. You can send us direct message there. You can also email mmtv@monroeville.pa.us. Let's get into it. Our first question this month comes from Tamara. She asks, what can the municipality do about helping neighborhoods with a cat problem? And adds, about 5 to 7 cats are living in my backyard and they multiply annually. She says she's in the Park Forest neighborhood. Well, Tamara, I'm glad you asked the question, and quite frankly, it's a hard question to answer because Monroeville really doesn't have the resources to deal with all of the wildlife and animal issues in the community. We do have an animal control officer who is quite busy, and on our website you can find out information about the situations that you could utilize the animal control officer. I can tell you this, if an animal is a problem like within your house or causing a danger or concern issue to you, please call the municipality and the animal control officer will make arrangements to get out there either immediately if it's during the daytime hours during the business week or overtime hours on the weekend under certain circumstances. The answer of feral and stray cats is complicated. Feral cats, first of all, are those cats that are wild, so to speak. You won't likely see them in your neighborhood. They're nocturnal, they're quiet, they're not looking to interact with humans, and they kind of keep to themselves. Stray cats, on the other hand, are likely cats that are homeless, if you could think of it that way, who have been in a house and are likely to be approachable to you and are willing to be fed by you and will vocalize. So there's a little bit difference. Both of them, however, can be kind of dealt with in the same way. Not the municipality, but private nonprofits in the Allegheny County region do have capture, spay, neuter, and release programs whereby homeowners like you could capture these animals and have them be spay or neutered and then release back out into the community, control the pet population that way. Would love to be able to do more, but really for us it's a resource issue. To learn more about our animal control officer and the shelter where we have pets that you can adopt, cats and dogs, go to the municipality's website and find under the department's animal control and you can learn more. Our next question comes via email from Wayne. He writes, Dear Mr. Manager, when the Tri-Cog runoff fee was initiated, I'm pretty sure he means the Turtle Creek Valley Council of Governments there, but he continues, it was my understanding that it was to be run for 4 years. That doesn't seem to be the case. Wayne then adds, also, the mall was on the hook for a large amount. Was that dropped? Many, many thanks. Love the show. Well, thank you, Wayne, for a question about our pollution control stormwater program here in Monroeville. Yes, Monroeville does have a fee, approximately $120 for each residential unit here in the municipality. The fee also applies to all development, whether that's nonprofit like churches or schools or businesses like the Monroeville Mall that you mentioned. To answer the question about have they been dropped, the answer is no. However, in Pennsylvania, the issue of the utility fee for stormwater management is in litigation. Recently, in 2023, the Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court ruled in favor of Westchester University against Westchester Borough, ruling that the fee was indeed not a fee, but a tax. And as a nonprofit university, they were therefore not subject to the fee. Of course, the borough challenged it to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, who now is reviewing it, and we're expecting a decision this summer. Depending on how the Pennsylvania Supreme Court rules, will have a lot to do with how the fee is collected in the future. For us, since 2019, about $3.9 million annually has been collected from residential, businesses, nonprofit, and other institutions within the community to deal with the water of storm, water management, and pollution control. On the stormwater management, it's about protecting people and property and limiting damage caused by flash flooding and other rain events. On the pollution side, the measures that we take to clean the roads and to have the stormwater sedimentation systems that are installed by the private developers or in the public space, that's all about reducing pollution in the waterways of Pennsylvania. Since 1972, America has had the Clean Water Act. Those were acts passed around the first Earth Day in 1970. And these acts were meant to clean the air, clean the water here, not only in Pennsylvania, but around the country. And that subjected communities like Monroeville, where there's a lot of impervious surface, that is man-made surfaces that water falls on and collects debris, oil, sedimentation, soil, and dirt, and disposes that into the streamways, polluting those streams, harming wildlife and the habitat that grows up along those streams. So since 1972, we've been involved in some extent to deal with stormwater. However, more recently, in the last 10 or 20 years, federal regulation along with state rules have required us to deal with and limit the amount of pollution in the waterways by controlling stormwater and cleaning it. So it's not only a quantity issue, it's a quality issue. That service we view as a utility. Therefore, we created the utility fee back in about 2017 and 18 and implemented the fee in 2019. As I mentioned earlier, each unit, residential unit in municipality, is charged approximately $10 a month, that'd be $120 annually, for stormwater runoff and pollution controls. The businesses, which would obviously be larger than the residential units, are charged on an equivalent residential unit. And depending upon their size and the amount of square foot of impervious surface, they'll have calculations from a handful of ERUs, equivalent residential units, to dozens or more, depending again on size, and they're assessed those fees. As you might expect, because of the litigation, a lot of them have held back paying the fee, particularly the nonprofits, if you can think of like the college or the schools or the churches, awaiting the Pennsylvania Supreme Court decision. But great question, Wayne. It's a very complicated subject, and I really appreciate your question. Thank you. Our last question is one that I have heard since coming to Monroeville. The question is, what is the meaning behind the symbols in the Monroeville logo? Well, to get that answer, I had to go way back. I asked some of the staff and asked others about what they thought. And after hearing their answers, it seemed to me that I needed to go back to the beginning. And I was able to track down Marshall Bond, former Monroeville manager. Back in 1968, Marshall was a college student who did an internship with Monroeville. And at that time, working for the Monroeville manager, Carol Pickering, they worked on branding and creating the Monroeville logo. The first Monroeville logo involved an atom kind of spinning around the fleur-de-lis and the symbols in the logo. The symbols were the dove on top and the lamp to the side, and they had a cog, like a machinery cog, on the right-hand side as you look at the logo. The cog represented technology and industry and the success and prosperity of commerce. The dove represented the tranquil neighborhoods that you can find all throughout Monroeville. And the lamp was a symbol of learning and light, coming from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge. Fast forward over the years, Marshall goes off to serve in Vietnam and comes back to Monroeville as an assistant manager, and in the mid-70s was the manager of Monroeville from 1970s throughout almost to the early 1990s. And he left for a time, and then Marshall came back in the late 90s and served through the 2000s before Tim Little became manager around 2009. During that time, the logo changed a couple of times, including the color scheme for the Monroeville at the bottom, and the symbols themselves changed. The atom symbol that I mentioned earlier changed because the predominance of the Westinghouse in the nuclear technology and research had changed, and it was no longer a part of our community, so that was removed. The cog was replaced with a grain leaf symbol, and that was a representation, again, of prosperity, and it also, for many, harkens back to the agricultural nature of our community. Remained, of course, is the dove on top, symbolizing our tranquil, peaceful neighborhoods, and the lamp representing knowledge. And if you can think about the importance of the Gateway Area School District and the Boyce Community College campus here we have in Monroeville, we have much dedicated to bringing ones from ignorance and the darkness and into knowledge, into the light. So with that, I hope that helps you better understand what the symbols mean behind the Monroeville logo. That's all our questions for today. Don't forget, you can get involved in our show by submitting your questions to our Monroeville Municipal Television Department via Facebook or email. The information is displayed here. We'd love to hear from you. Last month, for the Manager's Minute, I talked about the importance of communication. This month, I want to share my heart about care and concern for our community. The ability to serve the public with the people's hard-earned tax dollars is a great privilege that comes with great responsibility. All Monroeville employees are public servants, and that means we serve with humility, respect, and professionalism. That also means we believe that people matter and that all we do comes from listening well and doing what we can to help. Be on the lookout for the next edition of Monroeville at your service. Next month, we'll have a few sights and sounds from the Memorial Day Parade and more. Find this on our TV channels Comcast 21 and Verizon 45, with the schedule for airings posted on our website, monroeville.pa.us. We'll also upload segments from the show to our YouTube page, youtube.com/mmtv. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Until next time, be well and stay blessed.